The All-Star break, it's done. It's over with. Leafs back at practice today with the MVP on the other pad, by the way, with the other All-Stars. A little weird, but we're back in your ear with the Leafs Weekender. What's happening? Clark Monroe and Dylan Fournier riding with me tonight. Boys, how's it going?
She's going. How are you?
She's going.
Going.
Just sounds awesome over there, Dale.
Oh yeah, she's going.
Yeah, real.
I mean, I'm not looking forward to the week ahead, but I might be popping in on Wednesday for all the listeners here.
Let's do it. Let's make it happen. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Yes, I can't speak today. I'm tired of leaving me alone. Snowstorm on the East Coast. Come on, boys. A little gassed. We had ourselves the All-Star weekend. It was a pretty damn good one. I enjoyed it. All the pundits said it was one of the best All-Stars they've seen in a long while. Toronto shows up, shows out, and does well. What was your favorite takeaway from the All-Star weekend, Dylan Fournier?
I love the NHL draft, or the draft coming back. I've always enjoyed that. I guess it kind of brings some nostalgia back from when I was a kid. So having that back was an A+ for me. And actually the skills competition was actually fairly entertaining this year. So I give that one another A+ in my books. What about you, Clarky?
Yeah, for me, it was, I like the draft as well. I like the format coming back. I didn't love the way that they did it. Like, I thought that the celebrities and with all their mics on all the time, it was kind of messy.
I said that in a Wednesday show. It was like some of them were on when they weren't supposed to, and some of them were off when they were supposed to be on. It was very
It was, they didn't do that very well, and I thought that, it didn't seem like the celebrities really had much input. Like, Justin Bieber was just sitting on the stage by himself the whole time. Yeah. Tate McRae, she was great. She was maybe the best celebrity of the four, outside of Michael Bublé's mushroom incident. Yeah. But she didn't, again, she wasn't really like talking about the players. She just kind of was like, what do we do? Like, that's kind of all she did. And like, you know what? Whatever. She was there for whatever. Will Arnett was funny, but again, he was always just kind of like, I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Yeah. So,
well, they didn't want to take it away. I feel like in that.
Which is maybe good on them, but I just feel like having them there it didn't really seem like there was much to it. And there's a couple other little things, but I thought it was a really solid week in terms of just getting people involved and getting all the players. Like, I think the skills competition was my favorite part, more or less, just because the way that they did it this year with the same 12 guys competing the whole time, rather than splitting guys into, like, Shea Weber would only do the hardest shot and nothing else. Like, I kind of like the fact that they had the same group of guys competing in all the events, because it shows off their entire skill set rather than just one thing from one guy and then you never see him again. And I also really like the fact that they had it all on the ice, all in the rink, nothing outside, nothing pre-taped. It was all there, and that they did one run for each of them. You didn't get 2 heats. You didn't get 3 tries. You did 1 try, and that was your score.
Yeah.
And, I think they did a lot of things right with the skills competition. So a lot of good things coming out of this week.
For me, my takeaway from the All-Star game is just the kind of togetherness of everyone here. All the different players, everybody yucking it up, everybody mixing and matching. It didn't matter if it was Spittin' Chicklets and Wayne Gretzky or it was Gary Bettman hanging out with some of the guys as well. Everyone was in there. Everybody was talking. Everybody was mingling. It really seemed like there was positive steps for the game, some of which we will talk about here soon. But everybody had fun. Everybody did something that was kind of a moment. The right team won at the end. Matthews getting the MVP. All of those things happening were the right things for what needed to happen for the All-Star game. And I loved it. Loved the way it was presented. Loved the way it was dished up to us on a silver platter, man. This was a good event, and good on the NHL for doing it the way they did it. Sucks now we have to wait a couple of years for it to come back. At least 2027, maybe the next time we get this one. But we just touched on it for a second there. Matthews taking the MVP. I had a few Montreal Canadiens fans messaging me saying it was rigged for Matthews to get it, that Forsberg should have got it. We're in Toronto. It's a Toronto team that won. Of course, Matthews had a couple goals. They're going to give it to him, including the game winner. But what did you guys think? Should someone else have got that MVP award, Clarkey? Or was Matthews the right choice, the homegrown choice?
No, the All-Star MVP is like the least consequential award of any award. So like it's all about the fans that are in the building. That's all that matters. It doesn't go towards any contract bonuses. It doesn't go towards any year-end like Hall of Fame ballot stuff. It's not an important award, so it is strictly just to kind of celebrate what just happened, and that was the best way to do it. So if anyone's actually seriously complaining about who gets the All-Star Game MVP, come on, like maybe just go outside and go out in the snowstorm that James is having right now. That's what I say to those people.
Go play in the snow.
I think that Austin wasn't only the MVP on the ice, but he was also the MVP off the ice. His impact with that young kid, Finn, who designed the skates. He said, I saw a video afterwards that he's like, oh, we got to get you out to another game because you're my good luck charm or something around those words. So I think he had a great impact on that kid's life and will continue to. So I thought he was both MVP on and off the ice.
Yeah, no, well said, Dilly. Well said. All right, so there's a few moments here. Kucherov booed for his performance in the passing drill. Really, the fans gave it to him. Even yesterday when he tried to do his thing, they were still all over him. I love it, man. I love the fact that Toronto fans are passionate, but NHL fans are even more passionate because that rink was full of every different fan base, and they let Kucherov have it for half-assing it. So what do you guys think of that one where Kooch gets booed?
I honestly think that it was appropriate. I mean, we've had how many series now against Tampa Bay? And, to be honest, for a passing drill and for a guy that has 53 assists on the season, you'd think he'd do a little bit better, but maybe the pressure got to him being in Toronto. Who knows?
Hey man, those Tampa guys don't know nothing about media. Okay, Toronto's a hard market to play in. He learned firsthand right then and there.
That is very true. He took it well though. He waved to the crowd, which was kind of funny. He took it all in appropriately. He wasn't like flipping anybody off. So he handled it well.
Yeah, the one thing that I really took away from this week and the few things that went down with all the players is that I can't remember if I heard a player say this or if I heard a media member say this or what, but this week is really about celebrating your sport and celebrating the fans, and it's all about entertaining the fans and just putting on a show for them. That's why they're there. They want to see these guys put on a show for them. And the fact that Kucherov did as little as possible, basically to just get through the things that he was involved in.
Yeah.
That looks, and you know what, Mark Messier said it, I think, or maybe it was Buchagras on the ESPN broadcast, because that's what I saw, because it was on the NHL YouTube channel. But they said this is a bad look for him, and it's a bad look for the whole event because it just diminishes it. And these people are paying hundreds of dollars to go to the skills competition in the building. People are, going out, spending money at bars or whatever, watching it on TVs, wherever they are. And that's what you put forward. And it is, I personally agree fully with the ESPN broadcast. It's just a bad look for him. It makes everybody else look bad. And it's like, you think of if Austin Matthews did that and Finn, for example, his little buddy, and was watching, and he wanted to see Austin Matthews one time in doing the one-timer event, and Austin Matthews just went out there and just kind of chip-shotted them into the net. Like, how is Finn going to look at Austin Matthews after that, for example, even though Austin Matthews was treating him really, really well for that whole session? But, can you imagine if there's one little kid that really likes Nikita Kucherov? There's several. I'm sure there's a few. And now, after that, he's watching with his friends, or the next day at school, somebody makes fun of him because of that. Like, it's just something that there's more to it than just you. The whole thing was bigger than you, Nikita Kucherov, and I just think that I didn't like it at all. The fact that he basically gave up on that entire skating drill, the obstacle course skating drill, he just stopped basically. Now I did see some pictures that have come out. I think they're from the night before of him just getting beer poured on his face by 3 other dudes. So he might have just not been feeling good. But at the same time, I mean, everybody was probably in a very similar boat. They all had a few drinks. I don't think anybody was an innocent angel out there on the ice, but you got to do better than that. And I just think he should be holding himself to a higher standard. And I think all the other guys on the ice with him should have held him to a higher standard as well. It's just not a good look.
No, they definitely should have held him to a higher standard. But hey, you know what? It's over with. It's done with. The crowd gave him their pound of flesh, and he moved forward. Everybody's going to move forward with it. And wherever he ends up playing a playoff game, I'm sure the other fan base will give him a little extra jeer, especially if it's in Toronto. But the other one was Pasta with the snipe on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Just a little dig, just a little rub, Hey, they finally need to win something. And then there's the other dig, this is the first time that Matthews, advanced past the second round and won something himself. So a lot of little snipes going on. But what did you guys read into that? Obviously, they're just having fun. They know where they are. They're playing up the old thing. Even Jesse said, there's no doubt in his mind now that Toronto is the absolute center of the hockey universe after this weekend. But go back to Pasta there for a second. Just a little digs and jabs. Obviously, Leafs-Boston rivalry really strong.
I think Pasta knew that the media was there for a reason, and he knew that he was on record saying something. So he figured that he'd get a little flare in the media going. So I think that's all he was doing. It was just a gimmick to make the media blow up a bit.
Yeah, I love it personally. And I'm just looking at the standings, and as of right now, the Leafs are not facing the Bruins in the first round, but it's like pretty close as of right now. And if Brad Marchand was there, he would have said something 3 times worse. So, I think it's great. I think hockey needs more of that. We've talked about that a lot, where hockey just needs more of the personality and stuff. And if you can get a rival throwing a little jab at another rival, I think more of that, please. Let's bring it on. I want to hear more of it. I want to hear the Lightning chirping the Panthers. I want to hear the Rangers chirping the Islanders. I really liked when Barzal picked Shesterkin, and he kind of played up the whole New York versus New York thing. Like, that was good. Like, we need more kind of stuff like that. So I love it. Even though it was against the Leafs, I think it's great.
Yeah, no, it definitely is great. Obviously, we don't like getting sniped on too much, but if he's doing it with comments rather than pucks in the net, I'll take it, I guess. It's one way to look at it. The other thing that came out of this weekend, obviously, we had the Olympics coming back at 26 and 30 for the NHL with the players involved. Everyone excited. Mock lineups galore showing up on the internet. I saw yours, Clark, with the American goaltenders, and man, we could get torched there. But you know what? We always seem to find some talent between the pipes to back up the red and white. So I'm not too sad yet. There's all kinds that can happen. We have some potent offensive players, but it's exciting. Finally, best on best. Matthews versus McDavid. You get all of the guys that you want to see go head-to-head against people, finally having that opportunity. Then I'm fired up for it, man, other than losing the All-Star. But, I mean, a lot of people are saying we don't care that we lose the All-Star. We finally get some best-on-best competition, which is what everybody's been craving and wanting. So what do you guys think of the Olympic announcement? Are you excited? You ready for it or what? Clark first.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I don't know how it ever went away, to be honest. So the fact that they're going back to now, they've committed to 2 Olympics. You hope that momentum just carries it into 3 and then 4, and then there's not even a conversation. It just is. It is what it is after that.
It should be just baked into the regular NHL thing, man.
It should be. And, if anyone complains about the Four Nations Cup being in place of the All-Star game, I mean, you're going to actually see good hockey. Like, that's better than what the All-Star game is. So even though I'm not a huge fan of the fact that it's only 4 countries, like, I wish it was even just what the World Cup was in 2016, where you had 6 countries and those 2 gimmick countries. I think that was a ton of fun. And if you go back and watch those games, you guys, I know it was before the season started that year. It wasn't quite the same. But if you go back and watch those games, like, those guys were giving it. Like, they weren't messing around. And if you get anything close to that for the Four Nations Cup, which you will, because it's Canada, U.S. are huge rivals, they're not going to take a game off. Those guys aren't going to just like
no, there's no pussyfoot
around out there. They're going to that's big for them, regardless of what kind of tournament it is. Finland, Sweden, those guys hate each other too. So like it's going to be a really quality little stretch of games. And again, it's just unfortunate that it's not maybe the full format that we all want. But I heard today that this is just like almost like a test run until maybe the next time this happens, which would be 2028. So that this would maybe 2028 would be a full on World Cup again.
Should be. Yeah. Well, the political tensions with Russia and stuff like that should ease as well.
That's
Hopefully by then.
Yeah. I was going to say, by then, hopefully you can actually have a Team Russia, because that's a big piece of the puzzle. And I think, honestly, if that wasn't happening right now and Russia was allowed to participate in stuff, it might have been a full World Cup. Like that's that big of a deal for this little event. If Russia was in, you have to include them. And then that's 5. You have to at least have 6 then. And then you might as well go 8 at that point.
Yeah.
So I think that literally Russia pulling out and not being able to participate is the reason that this is a 4-team tournament. And, I keep saying this, and I keep saying, I don't love the fact that it is, but at the same time, it's going to be an awesome couple of weeks when it comes. We're all going to love it. The hockey's going to be great. If Canada wins the gold medal, I guess, if you call it that, we're all going to be just as pumped as we would have been if it was the World Cup. Like it's going to be, once we get into it, I think it's going to be amazing. It's just like, there's that feeling of, oh man, we're missing half the tournament almost. But I think it's going to be a great thing. And I much prefer this, even if it is the smaller format, over just the All-Star game. I like the All-Star week. I like the festivities. I like the skills competition, stuff like that. Those add some stuff to the season. It takes a little bit of pressure off for a little bit for these guys. It allows them to do that. But I think this is going to be ultimately, for the hockey fan, this is going to be the better option by a mile.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more. I feel like the All-Star game is more of, laid back, casual type thing. And then this is more like in your face. This is hockey. This is the best on best. This is going to get you pumped and excited for every single game that's going to happen on television. The only thing I'm not looking forward to is cheering against Austin Matthews, because I'm not quite used to that.
Get used to it, Dilly. It's coming.
So, I don't know how I'm going to react to that, because, World Juniors was the last time we saw him in international play, and he wasn't necessarily really ours at that time. So
yeah, we didn't have to hate him, or we didn't have to not hate him yet.
Yeah. So it was like, oh, okay, this is the first time I have to dislike you, but I adore you so much. So that's my biggest problem about it. I'm excited to see the generations of the talent in the lineups, like Crosby, McDavid, McKinnon, Bedard, and all them. It sucks that our goaltending is a little lackluster, and it kind of scares me. But I think what Canada's always good at is finding somebody to just hold down the fort, and the rest is dealt with, the forward group and the defensive group. I'm super excited for it. It's been since 2014, I think, or 2014.
2016.
Well, 16 was the World Cup, right? So
the World Cup was the last time we had some best on best stuff.
Yeah.
2014
Olympics. At the point where the Olympics happened, that's 10 years. It's been a very long time since we've had something this exciting. And during that time, it was Austin Matthews was just a baby. So it's exciting. It's good for hockey, and you have more excitement to the hockey season, as per se.
All right, well, let's pack away the World Cup, the Olympics, and the All-Star game, put a bow on it, say thank you very much. But we're moving into the second half of the season. The Leafs back to work today on the ice. We'll talk about some of that stuff here in just a moment, but we will talk about the week that will be for the Toronto Maple Leafs, New York Islanders, Dallas Stars, and the Ottawa Senators. The Battle of Ontario Hockey Night in Canada. Fired up. We'll go around, snap it around right quick. What is your prediction for this week? Clark Monroe, 3 games. What do they come out with?
Yeah, I think the momentum from the All-Star game for the guys who were there, and some of the rest that some of the guys who weren't there got, I think that's going to be a huge push for them. I really think that they're going to have a very successful week. I'm going to say 2-1. But I think they're going to kind of take some of that momentum from before the break with that, the little couple of wins there that they put together. And I think that's going to carry over with a positive week, and the energy is going to keep going. So I think with 3 games on the docket, I'm going to say 2-1 this week.
Dilly.
I'm going to go Ottawa always brings it, so I always get puzzled with them. But I'm going to say 2-0-1, and it's going to be a close game against the Islanders.
I was going 2-0-1 as well, but I will tell you right now, I'm going to say 3-0-0. This team is about to be due to be on a heater. They're on a 3-game winning streak right now. Let's keep it going. That fourth line, it looks mismatched, but Noah Gregor moving up where Yarncroke is. David Kamph and his no face-off prowess is injured, and then we'll talk about him in a couple of moments. But I'm liking the energy and vibes from this squad. So I'm saying 3-0-0 for the squad, and we'll see what happens next Sunday. But that being said, Joseph Woll was away from the team. He wasn't around everybody. He was working on things. He wasn't there today, but he's getting a whole heck of a lot closer. I'm not reading anything into this. This was simply just player management, basically, making this guy feel comfortable being there where he needs to be to get his rehab going, which is great for Joe Woll. We can blast through these topics pretty easily. But what do you guys think about Joe Woll here? Obviously, nursing that ankle injury, and the Leafs are going to take their time. Sheldon Keefe was hopeful to have him back, right after the break, but he hasn't come back just yet. But he's been on the ice plenty, and as Mr. Woodley said, he's right around the corner.
I think you take your time with this guy. Obviously, we don't want to rush anything. Sammy's been playing well, so take all the time that he needs, and hopefully when he comes back, he's on his A game. But even if he's ready to come back, he can still sit on the bench for a bit if he still needs that time to heal up a bit. And he was at the festivities. I did see somebody post a picture with him, and I just commented that smile's contagious because goddamn, that guy can't put away a smile all the time.
Last goalie to smile like that was James Reimer. Oof. We need one of those guys around here. He's also pretty good on the old piano there. So we'll take both those traits. But Clarky, any comments on Wooler, or are you good with what we said?
I don't mind it. I think at the same time, I don't want to rush this guy. I think I said that the last time we kind of talked about him. Please take your time. Please don't come back early with some sort of ankle thing that's going to just continue to nag him and not allow him to be his full talented self. I want to see him just get back on his own time without rushing it. Right now we're riding what Samsonov did when he came back, which was a solid little stretch of games. Let's ride that for a little bit if we can. Hopefully that continues. And I'd rather honestly see Martin Jones get a game or two rather than rush this young player into a situation where stuff could happen and it could just make things worse for down the road. Let's take your time, Joseph Woll. We'll get you back whenever it works best, but I'd rather see them give these other guys a shot. I think you need to give Samsonov at least 2 of the games this week to kind of see if that streak can keep going, maybe even all 3 games because they are kind of spaced out a little bit. I think it's, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday this week? I think.
Perfectly spaced.
So
yep.
I would say if Sammy's doing okay, give him game 2. I'm assuming he's playing tomorrow. Give him Dallas, and then if he plays well in both, give him Saturday too. That's kind of where I'm at with Sammy. Let's see if he can keep this going and get into a bit of a groove. And if he does, then Joseph Woll becomes a luxury rather than a necessity. So that's kind of where I'm at.
That just gives him more time to be more healthy as well, right? And the other thing too, I love what Sheldon Keefe said about Samsonov. Actually, he was away, but he came back early. It shows where his head is at, where his commitment is. He's ready to roll. He wants to hit this second half running, keep that momentum that he has. So he's dialed in and he's ready to go. For a guy to come back off of break when he doesn't have to, but wants to, it shows where he is with this team and what he wants to do for this team. So I'm pulling for him, man. Like we said last time, I'm all here for the Sammy redemption arc, man. I want to see that happen the way it needs to. But something that did happen here in practice, guys, David Kamph. He got injured, not in practice. We found out in practice, I should say, that he did get nicked up the last game. It didn't calm down the way that they wanted, is the wording that Sheldon Keefe said. He's going for an MRI today. This has shades of a guy that is not having a good season, but if you can set his $2.4 million somewhere for a few weeks or maybe a month. If there's something wrong, it allows you to make some moves and do some things. We've talked some things in our chat where you need this much money or that much money. Well, isn't it great if you can have $2.4 million allocated somewhere just for a little bit, not permanently, folks, and then move the moves you need to move and then juggle everything around as you need to see fit. It definitely is something that gets you thinking because it's very vague of what it is and where it is and what's going on. And we heard this before. John Klingberg's injury didn't calm down the way they liked it, so they had to put him on LTIR. We all know where that went. Hip surgery, gone for the year. Just saying, if it looks like a fire, it might be a fire. If it quacks like a duck, it might be a duck. So this might be a thing. It might not be a thing. Maybe I'm just so used to the Leafs doing this shenanigery that it's happening again. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, how long till Kamph's on the old IR here? I'm watching the clock.
I think Brandon Pridham and the doctors are best buddies at this point. I think they know what they're doing. So who knows? Maybe it's a myth. Maybe it's not a myth.
Well, and also Kamph's a little bit more quiet than Ryan Reeves is. So, Reeves will come out and say he's healthy. Kamph will just go to the beach and, do a triathlon or something and say, I'll see you next year.
Yeah.
Guy's yoked, man.
That guy's a horse.
Yeah.
I think that could be the case. I will say this, though, is that it is kind of wild if you take away any one of those bottom six centers, how not great the Leaf center depth is. So I don't think that they want this to be the case. I know that there's that obvious joke of the salary cap stuff, but
Boone Jenner, come on down.
I know, please, yes, please. That's oh my god,
that looks a whole hell of a lot better.
Boone Jenner, yes. Adam Henrique, yes. Both of them. Let's bring both. But I love those guys, yes. But at the same time, until it happens, it's the center depth is struggling, and I don't love it. I know Holmberg's going to step in, and he's fine, I guess. And that third line's kind of been a rotating center, anyways. Even with Yarncroke out, I know Domi's been in there for the most part, and he's been good on the dot, so that's been good in terms of face-off stuff. But yeah, I think David Kamph is as much as we think he might have maybe struggling this year, he is still a pretty integral part to this center group and the lineup as a whole. So I don't think it didn't sound like it was super serious to the point where they would put him on IR and you would get money off or much money off. But like you said, James,
we don't know what the MRI is going to reveal.
Every dollar counts. Every dollar counts.
Hey,
listen, I'll tell you this, guys. I haven't started beating a drum for a player I wanted yet. We all remember what happened the past 2 years for guys that I was like, I'm beating the drum for this guy. Ryan O'Reilly showed up with Nola Cherry, two guys that I was steadfastly wanting.
Hey, you haven't started yet.
There's no Boone Jenner. The drum is beating. Let's go. I want Boone Jenner. That is where I'm beating my drum. So Pridham, Tree Living, if you're listening, the drum has started. You better bring him to town. And I've beat the drum a little bit for Chris Tanev. So bring them both. We'll have some fun.
I've been on the Boone Jenner drum for 3 years. It's getting worn out at this point.
Well, maybe now that we're drumming in unison.
Yeah,
the tune will reach the right depths as Leafs Nation starts to strum together. So we'll see what happens.
Hey, I was 50% today on the dot. If they need some help, I can jump in.
Dilly jump. Hey, Beebs look pretty good too. I mean, you can throw that guy in some wheels. He can bring some scoring. Baby. Let's go. Start singing to the opposing team, and next thing you know, they're asleep.
Well, they'll just be taking pics the whole time anyway. So
there you go. See, the other bench will be snapping pics while we're ripping shots. I love it. Something that did get ripped kind of off was Tyler Bertuzzi's hair. He cut his hair, no flow, but for a good cause, obviously, going to a family who needed the hair for cancer, which is amazing, and the reason was amazing. But now everybody is like, no locks, no flow. Maybe it's time for him to start to go. Like he's going to start ripping shots, getting things done. I don't know if that's going to be true, but you know what? There's so many little feel-good stories now with Bert's story, Matthews and Finn. It's starting to feel like, everybody wants to pull for this team because they want all these good stories to come to a head with all of them on the ice with the shiny mug, celebrating together and having fun. And I think that's the way this needs to be done. So what do you guys think of Bert shaving off the old locks?
Go ahead, Clarky.
Well, maybe it'll make him more aerodynamic and he'll actually be able to skate for a change. That's the only thing I could think of when I saw
He's
it.
got them. Matt Marner said the best. He's got the most Neanderthaling skating ever, but he is a dog when it comes to getting the puck. When he's on that game of trying to strip guys of the puck, or just a weird way he does it, he gets the puck back a lot.
Oh yeah,
He doesn't get a lot of love for that, but he definitely is one of those guys that does that. But his skating just tongues out and looks weird, man.
Yeah, I mean it's not for everyone. But no, I don't know. I hope this is something. You know what? The best part about this for him might not be the aerodynamics of the hair or whatever. It might not be any of that. It might not be that he feels lighter. It could be that this is, as a positive event, just makes him feel better as a person, which could kind of boost his spirits, boost his energy levels, boost all those kinds of things. And if that has any effect whatsoever on Tyler Bertuzzi, then that's a W.
All for it.
If any effect whatsoever, that's a win. So you know what? Try it out. See what happens. Let's hope it gives him a boost.
34, hit it.
I might have to ask him to cut off a bit more so I can put some on top of my head. But besides that, no, it's a great cause.
It's a great cause. It certainly is.
He kind of looks like Justin Bieber when Biebs had the flow back in the day. So maybe he's giving his inner Biebs so he can do something special on the ice. I don't know.
Listen, Biebs just needs you to hold on for the Leafs to win the cup. That's all.
Yeah.
We'll get it. All right. So second half will be what? Quick answer here. Clark Monroe.
I'm going to say the second half will be rejuvenated. And the reason I say that word is because I feel like they're coming into the second half on a bit of a good note. And there's been so much frustration and so much up and down in the first half of the year. They're barely hanging on to a wild card spot right now. They should be leading the division or close to it. That was what everybody said before the season started. So I'm going to say as a rejuvenated second half means I think they're going to settle into what their system is. The players are going to settle into who they are as players and their roles on the team. And I hope that, finally we get this team that we kind of wanted all year long. So that's what I'm going to say. A rejuvenated second half, not just for the team, for the fan base too.
Love it. Dilly, what do you think? Second half will be what to you?
The second half will be consistent.
Stole my damn answer.
I'm going for more consistent play. Like Clark said, they're going to come into their own system. They're going to work hard. And, maybe Poppy's going to put in another consistent 40 goals. So
all right.
That's a high praise, but, he's got some decent amount of games left. Who knows? Maybe 30 is a bit more consistent for him. But I'm hoping that the storylines that have kind of jumped out at us at the beginning of the year kind of calm down, and we don't have too much bull crap going on behind the scenes, and everything can be calm and consistent.
For me, the second half will be magical.
Nice.
There will be things that happen that get us excited, like the trade deadline. Everyone thinks Tree Living's going to do nothing. I so disagree. I think he's going to augment this defense at least and allow this team to roll. But I think this team, much like you both said, I think they're going to hit stride. I think you're going to see a rested and ready John Tavares, a rested and ready TJ Brody, who will be moving down the defensive core when they bring in the next piece. But this team, it's just going to be a come-together second half, and they're going to blow the doors off and be close to what Clarkey said, a division leader. And this team is not going to be in a wild card. I predict they'll be second in the Atlantic when everything is said and done. And we will be looking at a tandem of Joe Woll and Samsonov as the it tandem of the NHL when Woll comes back and starts putting up those Vezina-like numbers, as Mr. Woodley said on this show. So get ready, dial in, and get fired up. It all begins again tomorrow. Put that seatbelt on because we're going full tilt to the end of the season. Boys, we snapped it around quick, 34 minutes. I know, Clark, you got the youngins there. I got a dog here. I don't know if you can hear him howling.
We heard him.
Go outside in the snowstorm.
He's just agreeing with us.
Yeah.
Oh, he is. He's all in for the Leafs, but now he's passed out on the floor. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you always tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out Clark Monroe's Twitter and his TikTok page. Check out D434 on Twitter and over on his TikTok page. And make sure you have yourself a good week. We'll check you out Wednesday night after a couple of games. But you know what it is around here. It's Go Leafs Go. Make sure you hit all our follows. But this is Offside Hockey Talk, where the Maple Leafs and hockey come to talk.